So these were my tail lights went out. I just had some Bondo hair I applied there. Then I ran out of that, so I had some fiberglass kicking around. So this has got just one strip of fiberglass over it, just to seal up all the holes, just if it rains again. Now at the front, you can see all the holes in the front, but they are actually covered with a thin layer of fiberglass. So that should keep the water out till I'm ready to work on her. As I take up the old lino, it comes away pretty easy from the edge anyway. I'm just slicing it with X-Acto knife and going under with the scraper. I do notice there's a lot of moisture under it. A lot of that's probably from the other night when there were holes in the roof and it was raining, but you can still see how all that water over the years seeping down would go under. The good thing, it looks like they have sprayed the plywood with fiberglass chalk, so it should be waterproof from the inside anyway. And here's the connection bolts, they're all rusty. And as I go along, I'm sure I'll see there should be a bunch of other little screws going into the frame as well. I'm just tackling this a small section at a time. I did a timing test for 1 square foot. It takes me roughly about 5 minutes to slice it and then peel it up. So what I'm doing is I'm just following the lines on this. It just gives me something to work with. So I cut. Just makes it easier when it comes up. It just comes up in small little sections. Okay, and as well, this kicks up a lot of nasty fumes. I've got a couple windows open. That noise you hear, actually I've got a heater going here. Winter has come back to Calgary. Make sure you use the proper respirator. And away we go. Takes the gun about a minute to warm up, but once it's ready to go, it goes pretty quick. Depending on how well it's glued down. Some of it comes up real easy, some of it you have to work at it a little bit more. Going with the grain of the wood. You go the other way, you'll end up gouging the wood. I've done it in a few spots. I think it's actually melting the glue that attaches that. There's roughly an hour's work for today. That's enough for today. I just put a plastic bag over the refrigerator stuff. It's been snowing and raining here for the last couple of days, so I have been getting some water coming in, just pooling down in that corner. That should take care of that. Otherwise, seems pretty watertight so far. I don't see any other major leaks. I did notice, however, just looking at the where the license plate wiring comes in, there's a hole there, and you can see like water's dripping down there. So that's been like that for years. Of course, coming in, seeping in under everything and wicking all through the trailer. So I'll fix that up. What I might do is fiberglass a piece of plywood to here to give it something to like seal the holes up. Fiberglass a piece of plywood here, and then just screw into the plywood. Okay, it is the first week of April here, 2011. Picked up the trailer a year ago, and it's after gutting it, it's pretty much just been sitting here for the better part of a year. So time to get back at her. I'm in Alberta. My sister who owns or who will be getting the trailer is in Ontario. She's not in a rush for it, but I want to start getting at her. The weather hasn't quite warmed up here yet, but I'll try and get in here today and clean some of this crap out and see where I left off. I think I still have a bit of floor to take up over there. Yeah, there you can see the vinyl or the linoleum on the floor there. I'll get that up and then maybe work on sanding down the inside. And then next step will be putting on the insulation and working back from there. Okay, this is coming. This is underneath the trailer. This is the outflow, or this connects to the black water tank. Looks like it's all glued in there, so I'm going to have to actually break this pipe so I can pop the black water tank off and get the linoleum off the floor, and then reseal the floor if necessary. So this pipe here, all this pipe here will have to be replaced. Chances are it's old, it's probably brittle anyway. I'll probably do the whole run. I'll redo the whole run of pipe. So here's the black water tank inside. So the toilet's up here, so waste in. Now the outflow is over here in this corner, attached to that previous, I think 3.5 inch, 4 inch pipe. So the vent tube can just go up out of the way here a bit. Now I don't know if I should go underneath and actually cut that pipe, or this will twist here, but obviously I can't twist it all the way off. I'll probably have to go underneath with the Sawzall and cut that pipe and then just lift this whole thing up through the floor and worry about reattaching a new pipe later. I crawled underneath with the trusty old Sawzall. Cut the outflow pipe over in this corner and let's see what happens. And there we go. There's your tank there. So I'm going to have to put on a new fitting here. See, around the floor they have this wax seal. Same thing you'd have in a crapper in the house. So there's the wax seal there. So here's the hole in the floor. There's the pipe underneath where I cut. You can see I just cut it with the Sawzall. And here, this is all a wax seal around there. And here's the bottom of the tank. Same thing. So what's that? I think that's 4 inch diameter outflow pipe. So I'll just have to replace this. I'll do a leak test on this, but I think this tank will be okay. I'm also checking the whole floor, going around, taking out any old rusted screws there in the floor. These were just with hose clamp or wired. All the wires were run through this and the hoses and whatnot. So I want to go around, make sure I get every screw. If they don't come out, I just cut them off with the grinder. Got most of the linoleum up. You can just see here, this black stuff, that's the glue. I'm going to have to try and get some kind of glue remover. See if I can get rid of that. Now you also notice there, that white spot there and that white spot there, that's sort of, I don't know if it's rot in the plywood. I'm going to have to dig into it and find out. But it does seem to be along, like that's the joint. There's two pieces of plywood joined together there. And there are some screws coming up through it. My guess is there's a brace underneath that screws into. Maybe the water weeped up over the years and rotted the wood, or maybe the wood was... or maybe it had holes in it and they tried to patch it or something. I'm not quite sure. It might be dry rot up here, the wood there. It's kind of chalky. Like whether that could be wood or that could have been some kind of filler, I'm not sure. My guess is it's dry rot. Now as for bolts holding the chassis to the frame, I see in the back, this is the back, so there's the back window down here about 18 inches out from the wall. There's one end going through there, there's the other one there, so there's two. There is one behind the wheel well, there's three. One in the middle of the floor, there's four. 5 behind the other wheel well. Right in the center of the trailer, there's 6. Now in front of the wheel well, there's one there. Right now on the door side, I don't see one there. And then up front, there is 1, there's 2, and there's 3 holding it in. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I've got 10 in total, holding 10 main larger bolts, probably 1/4 inch. Here's what mine look like on top. So they're flat on this side and then a bolt going through. So that's about an inch, inch and a half across there. I'm going to replace all those. If I'm not mistaken, I think up there where that white rotten board is, I think there's a metal brace underneath going across, and there might be 1 or 2 more going from the bottom, I think, and then to attach it to the plywood. My next step now is I'm just going to rough up all the old fiberglass, get all this old foam off. Okay, to help take the walls down, to clean them up, I'll use a combination of whatever works. There's a sander, wire brush. Here's a grinder with a sandpaper flap wheel on it. This works pretty good. I'll probably end up doing most of it with this. I've got my hearing protection in, and this stuff's pretty dusty. Proper respirator. Yeah, we'll try the old goggles.